Yo, what up, everybody? Welcome to the Scottie Show tonight. I got a very special guest, Scott Delta. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing good, man. So for the people that don't know who you are, who is Scott Delta?
Who is Scott Delta? That's always a good question. I don't even know sometimes, to be honest. But I am a musician, artist, engineer, producer. I do it all basically.
Yeah.
I am with the NU Art Collective based out of Portland right now. Um, Other members are Ilmana NU and Zadil NU, as well as Gina. There's a few other people as well. Peachy is a collaborator as well. Wonderful. We got a lot of people here. But yeah, I make music. I guess that's what I do.
Hell yeah. So you're out of Portland, right? So you live
hmm
in okay. How do you feel about like, the music scene and stuff out there, like from your perspective?
Uh, it's weird as hell, that's for sure. It's I think the Pacific Northwest in general is like a very weird place. I mean, like I'm used to the cold too, because like I moved here from Boston. So I'm used to like the cold, but I feel like the people here are a lot colder than I would have expected. Um,
Yeah.
it seems like a very like DIY community, but still very like insular. Like it's kind of hard to like get connected with people.
Because people they
But
act
other,
exclusive and shit, like on like some
I'm
weird
like,
shit.
literally,
Don't
I'm like,
even,
we're playing a
don't
show.
even like, and that's like the most craziest thing ever. How people can like they'll do like the opposite of like networking. Like they'll just click
hmm
up and like be like, no, we're not gonna fuck with nobody else. And like
Literally.
that's how a scene and that's how artists don't grow. Like
hmm
like clicks don't grow. Artists networking grows an artist. Like
hmm
the whole city has to like want that person to win, or like want these like specific artists, or like all the artists as a whole to win. Like that's
Absolutely.
how I feel about that stuff. I think that stuff is dumb. But like I'm open
I
like
agree.
and blatant about it, especially when like I'm around those kind of people. Like people will have
hmm
like an opinion, and then I'll state my own like the opposite opinion, because you can't be like, I feel like a lot of people like bite like their tongue around people like that as well, which is
hmm
the wrong fucking thing to do.
It
Let
is
them
not. Speak
know.
up.
Let them know that what you're like. I'll be like, bro, what you just said is dumb as hell. Like that's what, like, you gotta let them know, like, bro, what you just said is stupid
Honestly,
and it's not valid.
I've been
And
like trying to
like,
connect with people at shows here, and I'm like, we're playing in a forest right now. How are you like being so like clicky about this and like you're better than me? I'm like, I
yeah,
don't get it.
but
Like,
it's like that. It's like that around like a lot of like different places and stuff. Like
hmm
and it seems like it's just like an issue with like, I would say more of like small city, like, or like small, like,
hmm
honestly, even though Portland, like, is a big city, like people can have like that small town like mindset of like,
Absolutely.
and they want to be like local, like hometown heroes and shit. And like don't and I would just be asking people, I'm like, don't you want to be like, more than like where you're at? Like, don't you want to
Literally.
grow beyond this and
I think
everything?
a lot of people just have that like crabs in a bucket mentality too, where like they have to win at the expense of everybody else around them, which I think is
You
super
don't win in the
destructive.
end. Yeah, you don't. No
Exactly.
one
No one
wins.
wins then.
Everyone hates you. No, like, you can't get no one to be invested in you. You know what I'm
hmm
saying? Like, especially if people like think that about you already, and then like most of your fans will be people that are actually in your city, and you don't even know it. Like,
hmm
like when I look at my plays, like when I did like make music heavy, like most of my plays will be from my hometown, and then like boom, 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 boom. People silently listen to your music sometimes, and you don't even know it unless you look at the analytics and stuff. And I
hmm
feel like if you're being like clicky and stuff, and you don't want to work with the community is not gonna fuck with you at the end of the day. No
Absolutely.
matter no matter how many followers you got, and no matter how many, like, whatever you have, like at the end of the day, like if you can't make it out your city or whatever, then like that's on you at the end of the day, and that's on the city. Um,
hmm
well, another question I got is, how did you get involved with music, and like how that all
Oh,
get started for
geez.
you?
Let's see. Well, I've been making like not really making music, but just like playing instruments and things like that for a long time. I do like I've been singing for a bit. I do piano as well as bass, guitar, things like that. But I didn't really get into the production side or like really get serious with it until when I was in my sophomore year of college and I met
Yeah.
everybody that I'm with now.
Hmm.
Um, because Zadil actually taught me how to produce. That was only about like 4 years ago, like 2019.
Yeah.
I had not even touched the DAW before then, so I owe a lot to them for sure for that. And I don't know, the energy just really clicked, and like we just couldn't stop making music. Uh, it's a beautiful thing. I couldn't stop myself if I wanted to. I think this year alone, just 2022, between me, Ilmana, and Zadil, we've made over 150 tracks. Um,
Hell yeah.
which like most of those aren't even out, but that's always the hard part for me. I feel like is releasing it because like I always keep wanting to work. I'm just a perfectionist, so I keep wanting to work on it and be like, oh, but I know I could do this. So
Hmm.
I mean, I know Astro Trap was talking about me posting like Mix V10, sending them shits to everybody,
Yeah.
but yeah, I just love working on music, and it's something I love doing, and I don't think I could ever stop.
Oh yeah. Do you ever think about like because I know like when I listen to your music, it doesn't really sound like everyone else's and stuff, and like it has a unique sound to it. So are you always like thinking about like what is like a melody or like a sound or a voice projection that I can like make that sounds like new? Like, do you always think about that?
Yeah, I think about that too much a lot, and then I also get caught in my own lane of that in a lot of ways. I'm like very hypercritical in that sense, where I'll like catch myself doing the same riffs or like sort of melodies, even if it's in a different key or like BPM or whatever. Where I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, that sounds too close to something I've done before. So like, I'm not only trying to do something different than everyone else, I'm trying to do something different than myself because I don't ever want to be stationary with that. But I
Mm-hmm.
think also it just comes down to like I love all different kinds of music and I have a lot of different influences. So I really try to bring all of these different things together in a way that I can. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'll go
yeah, I
from
feel you. I
like
feel you.
I'm trying to think of anything I've been getting into recently that I've been trying to use as influence. I don't know. I feel like a lot of
Who
my
do you
stuff. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, because like just to piggyback off of that, who are like some of the artists that you grew up listening to, and like who are some of the artists that like inspire you like right now, like that you're listening to, and it could be from like people that you're listening to from like 2015 to now, or from
Hmm.
like 2002 or 2005 to now, like who are you listening to go coming up,
Oh God, I think a lot of like my
bands
early
and
stuff.
all.
I mean, like my dad was super into like a lot of like blues and R&B, so I grew up on a lot of that for sure. As well as some like classic rock as well. Like,
Yeah,
I was that's why I started on guitar mainly, because I was really into these like very like complex guitarists who conveyed a lot of emotion in their music.
yeah.
Be it like Jimi Hendrix, BB King, just like a lot of these people that would really just put their whole soul into it. I don't know that shit. That shit was really like very moving. But then like as time went on, I started to like get introduced to a lot of different like underground. Like I there was a period where I was like only like exclusively listening to like SoundCloud EDM artists with like 10,000
Mm.
plays, and then I was like, this is it. This is the peak of music. And I'm like,
And
I
then
think I've outgrown that, but it's definitely influenced some of my
and
more
that
modern
was
stuff too.
the hyper pop, right? Was that
Yeah, I mean,
hyper?
honestly, I'd call it like right before then. It was like oh man, I can't even think of any specific artists right now. I feel like they're so far gone from my memory.
Have you
But
ever
like,
listened to Die Antwoord from
yeah,
South
Diane
Africa?
Antwoord for sure. Yeah, that
Like
one.
they were like,
Yeah, I mean, they're
would you classify them as like EDM with like
yeah. I mean, I was more into like drum and bass, like Pendulum and who am I thinking of? Like the Prodigy and
okay,
people like that. So like a lot of like more like aggressive EDM, I'd say, which Diane
hmm
Ward was definitely similar to. I wouldn't classify them as an influence because they are terrible people, but
like that
yeah.
shit is crazy. I was like,
Hmm.
what? Did you watch the podcast with what they
No,
adopted
I didn't
son?
even see the
That shit was
podcast.
crazy, bro. Like it. And the way I found out about Die Antwoord was because I went to Lollapalooza in 2015, I think,
Oh
and
shit.
like
Okay.
yeah. Like I was at Lollapalooza, and we were like lost, and like we like stumbled across this stage, and like we saw them, but like we didn't know they were Die Antwoord. And then
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they were playing,
Okay.
I think you freaky and I like you a
Yeah,
lot.
that track goes
Like
crazy.
yeah, like and like everyone was like going crazy, jumping up and down, and like there was like upside down crosses and shit. It was
Hmm.
honestly it was the most wild show I've ever seen in my life. But then like finding out like what they did and like how
You're
they
like,
are as people, I'm like, holy
I
shit. And
it's an issue I see a lot in the underground too. I feel like it's something
I
that's
wouldn't even
like,
classify them as underground. They
yeah,
nationwide.
they weren't even, but
They
that's
got
true.
like
Yeah, just the music.
263 million plays on a song.
That's true.
They are underground.
Just I feel like just in the whole music community,
And
I
they
feel like
just from
there's a
South
lot of
Africa.
that. Yeah, that's true. It's true.
Yeah, they just from South Africa. They ain't
Uh,
no underground. They
that's true.
definitely they made millions of dollars off music. Like they got the Dre
Hmm.
beat. Honestly, like
Literally.
and it sucks like when a group like that, like you find out that they're like terrible people, like and then you gotta like just be like, damn, bro, like I'm disappointed. And
Damn,
like
that's it.
but then like I'm not surprised because look at their music videos. Look how crazy it all is. Like the craziness and stuff like that. They honestly really inspired the DIY like that whole entire thing. Like they was
Hmm.
making that stuff like back in like 2012, 2011, like 2010. And like didn't nobody know like what that shit was. I didn't even know what it was. I was just looking at this shit. I'm like, bro, what the fuck? They was doing blackface. They
Damn.
was doing all types of
Yeah, they
stuff.
were doing a lot.
Yeah, yeah. How do you feel about like people that like groups and bands that push that line? Because I grew up listening to a lot of different types of music. Like like my dad was a DJ, so I obviously had like
Hmm.
all like the rap history from Prodigy and like all the other like rappers all the way up to like now. And then I listened to like rock. I grew up around like once my parents like graduated college and shit like that and we moved out the hood, like we ended up living around white people and like I lived
Yeah.
around like skateboarders and shit like that and like
Hmm.
I listened to like rock, country, and all that shit. So like,
Hmm.
how do you feel about like the alternative shit and like the underground like rock, pop, punk, and all that stuff? How do you feel about that?
I mean, if you can trace it all the way back to like the origins of the like modern music industry as we see it now, where like it is like a lot based on like just white people like either doing their best or worst attempt at like parodying black culture as much as possible,
Yeah,
be it a characterization or just like what they perceive it as. I mean, like, and that's what I think like is really interesting about the underground scene in a lot of these different genres is like most of these were either started by or like continue to be like pushed by black people, but the people that blow up are white people.
yeah,
And like it's a really crazy dichotomy to see that. Um, but I feel like especially like a lot of like punk shit, especially. I mean, with like a lot of like underground punk and things like that, there's that element to it where like of exclusionary tactics, which I do not fuck with. But like I feel like there's definitely more recently been a resurgence of like people actually trying to understand the history and culture of a lot of these genres.
yeah. Like it's like crazy. Like when people don't know like who Black Flag is, people
Hmm.
don't know like about like Mochla Doma, like the Russian
Hmm.
like pop punk like era of things and they like it turns out it just looks like a fad. But also I
Hmm.
want to comment on like there are white artists that blow up that are really talented besides the fact that they
Absolutely.
are connected like like using any culture or whatever. I look at like things like I look at like pop punk. I look at that as like a white genre. Like even though
Absolutely. Yeah.
like like I look at that as like one of those like genres like screamo and things like that and
Hmm.
like and I would say like the emo goth like music and stuff like that. Like I used to listen to that shit, and then like I would say like Linkin Park, like
Yeah, and it's
their
kind of gas
style.
though. That's the thing. Is
You know what I'm
it does
saying? Like
slap.
it's
Like
guys like yeah, like and then I'm not about to act like Chop Suey isn't a hit. I'm not about to
yeah,
act
Chop
like
Suey goes crazy.
yeah, I'm not about to act like
Yeah, like
Avril
I grew up
Lavigne
on
doesn't go
Soundgarden
off.
too. Like I love
Yeah,
me some
yeah.
grunge. Like I grew up on Soundgarden. That shit's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. Like I
R.I.P.
can't
Chris
like
Cornell.
act like those people aren't like talented, like regardless of whether or not where like rock or whatever like came from. As long as we acknowledge where rock where like jazz, blues, rock, or whatever
Hmm.
came from. Then like I'm all
Even
good with the
yeah,
country and all that stuff. Like like the like like talent rises to the top. You know what I'm saying? Like it
absolutely.
doesn't
Yeah,
really matter. Like sometimes talent does overpower that, but then also there are powers that be that do handpick whatever it is. But like
exactly.
if you're a white artist and you're talented, I'm about to be like, okay, you're fucking talented. Like I can't even like
Hmm.
there's no like past like I look past the color when it comes to talent. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about
Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't care about color when it like talent like beats all that stuff. Talent supersedes like color, money, all that stuff. People love like if you can
That's what as a musician, that's what you look for. I think is
yeah,
talent
yeah.
and like I think authenticity is something I look
Hmm.
for and strive for a lot. I feel like um I feel like I see, especially now, a lot of people seeing like or like studying some either like specific subgenre that's blowing up, be it like rage or drill or things like that, and they're like, oh, I know
Yeah,
how this is done. I think I can do that. And like
yeah,
some of them can do that. That's fine. It's just like
yeah.
I think it's important that you put your own spin on it and your own like personality into it. Otherwise, why did you
Mm-hmm.
make it? Because then anybody could have made
Yeah.
that.
Mm-hmm. I
Yeah, I'm gonna
definitely agree
apologize in
with that.
advance too. I'm sweating like shit in here because the air quality is horrendous and we have no AC, so I'm just sweating it
That's
out.
crazy. Yeah, but who are some of like the favorite features that you have done, making music? Like what are some of those favorite features?
Features I've done or people have like done for me.
Both.
I guess we could do both. Yeah, okay, let's see. Some of my favorite features I've done. Can we count like production as well?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
production,
okay.
all that. Yeah.
Um, a lot of my work with Astro Trap for sure. I think I'm Not One Yo, that was a deal and I did. It's
Mm-hmm.
still one of my favorites. That shit was
That's
crazy.
fire.
I really like the beat for a dog on I forgot what album that was. I really enjoyed that one. A lot of them have not come out or are like underground. Some of my favorite people too that I've received features from. Oh, I remember one that's one of my favorite I've done is Dream Cola.
Mm.
He does a lot of like I don't know how to describe it. It's very like indie alt rock like Mac DeMarco-ish stuff, but like
Mm-hmm.
we did this one that just came out on the album. I forgot what it was called. Was it Repercussions? Was that what it was called? Um, but I was just like, I don't know, it felt very like ethereal and angelic because I got to use my high register a bit more, which is something I don't always get. Like I try and do more because
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I have a pretty good falsetto,
Mm.
but I'm trying to like learn to manipulate the like male palette I was given as well as a trans person. I'm trying to like strive away from that, which is kind of hard when my voice sounds like this. So,
Yeah.
but like I got to do some more like cascading in the snow, like type things.
Yeah,
And I was
yeah,
like, this is
yeah.
great. I feel this. Some of my favorite features I've received. Let's see. On my second EP is oh God. So I released two albums technically, but I had to cut them down to EPs because I had to cut some people out that I do not fuck with and do not fuck with what they're doing. So
Mm.
they are now EPs. And on the second one, which was End of an Era, I got Biscuit to feature on, who's from like not Portland, not Tacoma, Tacoma, Seattle area.
Okay, okay.
Biscuit's really cool. Formerly known as Biscuit, now Digital Ghost.
Mm.
Yeah, that was a really enjoyable feature. I really enjoyed working with that. And then let's see. I feel like I wish I did more features for people. I mean I literally did like a thing on Twitter where I was like, I will do a feature for $1. I was like, I'll do it right now. I was like 24 hours. Anybody hit me up? Got no responses, which is like fine. I'm not even like mad about it. It was just like, damn, okay. I always want to be working with people. If your music is good, I am always down to work. I think
Yeah,
that's usually how it works. Like I've like made beats, mixed and mastered entire tracks for free because I fucked with the vision. Like that's that's just how I
yeah,
operate. As much as I'd love to make money, that'd be great.
yeah,
But I know that's not always feasible, so I'm just happy to work. Is really what it is, and happy to put the art out there.
yeah.
I think one of my other favorite features I received was Nayla Savannah, who is out of California. Just a really amazing person. Have loved working with her. And then I think this isn't really a feature, but like one part of my like work experience, I guess, in music that like is probably not as well known. But I mixed about a little over half of Beeman's album,
Oh,
which
that's
was really
lit.
fun. Yeah, it was really
That's
interesting. I'm
lit.
trying to
That's
remember which one
lit.
that was.
Yeah, that's lit.
Yeah, it was an experience for sure. I'm really glad I got that to do that. I think I learned a lot from it. And I have a lot of respect for Beeman. Definitely doing a lot with the underground right now. But
Yeah.
yeah, and then
Dude,
I think there's
he's been like doing this shit for a minute.
forever.
Like
It's
he's been yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, he's been I've been following him since uh like I have him on my other like Twitter, but we like I've known him since like I think like 2016.
God damn. Okay,
2016.
yeah.
Yeah, I've known him for a minute. Yeah, man. He's
hmm
definitely yeah, he's been in the game for a minute, dude. Yeah.
I respect a lot
Hey,
of people
that's
like
crazy.
that.
Yeah, yeah, he's been in the
Mm.
game for a minute, man. That's crazy.
I feel like it's really hard to be in the game that long and not be bitter, which I'm very like. understanding and respectful of people who
When
are like not bitter.
the reason why I think that he's not bitter is because he has a cult following too. And
That's
like when
true.
you have and like you don't have to be famous in order to make money off of music. All you have to do is curate your own audience and people that actually want to be invested in you. And like when you invest in video production, when you invest in music production, when you invest in yourself as an artist, whether that's like, um buying better equipment, like and then now like the game has changed even more to where people want to see you like stream and stuff like that and
Hmm.
see you make the music and they want to see like that like aspect of like oh I want to see like the background and then you can be like yo if you sub to my channel on Twitch or on YouTube we can do collabs and stuff like that so then
Exactly.
now you're
Yeah.
getting people to buy into like you as like a brand and as a person so like when you have like these like cult followings and stuff like that, there's no reason to be bitter when you have a community that's willing to support you, buy your product, buy your merch. All you have to do is put
Absolutely.
out a high quality product for someone to buy and
Hmm.
digest, and then they will appreciate it, and then they appreciate the fact that you're actually being you. You know what I'm saying? Like
Absolutely.
and like not following like trends and things like that. You have to be the one that creates like the like the trend or like create like your
Hmm.
own like style, movement, whatever.
Move your own
Um,
wave. That's all it is.
yeah, and I think another thing, like people want to see the visual. They want to see you. That's why I think music videos for artists are so important, and being consistent with music videos are very important. The more you put yourself like out there, and like I mean like high quality video, like to where they can like see you. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? I know like a lot of like artists like kind of like blur like their self out and everything like that, but people actually want to see
I'm
you in
guilty of that.
yeah, yeah, they want to see you in 4K HD and stuff. They want to
Hmm.
like see you. They want to like feel. One artist I would say that's like really good at music videos and like putting himself in there. I would say Eternity.
Hmm.
He's
Eternity's
really
been.
good. He is
I've
really
been
good
wanting to
at
work with
that.
Eternity for sure. Eternity's been going crazy for a minute.
Yeah, I would say like he's really good at that and like his I would say like one thing about his music videos is that like it feels like you're following along with him in like a journey a little bit and like he lives in like a
Absolutely.
city and I feel like since you live in Portland like the music videos that you can put out with your music you could really encapsulate like people on a journey like through Portland has a lot of like different like terrain it's
There's
not
so
only a
much here. I
city
love it.
yeah it's not only the city you have the ocean you got like
Yeah, we got.
you can go to the ocean and do dope
Mhm.
shit. You can be in the woods,
I could drive an
mountains.
hour and be at the mountain. Like we could be like literally snowy terrain in like what
Yeah, yeah.
30, 45 minutes. I think the thing with music videos to me is like I really do want to do more. I just have like a couple things that hold me back. One, I'm camera shy. I feel super awkward
Yeah,
on camera,
you
even
gotta
though
get yeah, you gotta
like
like just be like fuck it and like just be you and like learn
exactly.
just learn how to just like how you're in the moment making music by yourself. You just have to be in the moment like when the camera's on, when people are looking at you. Like that's like one thing I learned from doing stand up is just like mastering the moment. When you're like in front of like I've been in front of like hundreds of people at one
Hmm.
time and like you gotta learn how to be like, yo, I like this is what I do. Like if it
Exactly.
like this is like that's when you be from a hobbyist to I want to make money off of this. You know
Hmm.
that like
That's the
capturing like
major
that.
gap.
Yeah, like capturing like the moment, learning how to capture the moment. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
That's like one of the most important things I think as like being just someone that is involved with art. Like comedy is an art, like
Absolutely.
same with music and all that stuff. How do you feel about like music where it's at right now?
As a whole, like music,
Yeah, like where the state of music right now. How do you feel about it? Some people think it's
damn.
shit. Some people think it's cool. Some people think it's fine. What do you think?
I think we're in the best and worst time for music. I mean, it really depends on your perspective and what you're looking for in it. I think we
Yeah,
have the most access and like what's the word I'm looking providers of music,
yeah.
which is amazing. Like a lot of people are getting to tell their story. A lot of people are able to express themselves.
Hmm.
I also think it's like as you were mentioning earlier, the line between producer and consumer within music is getting blurred in a really interesting way to me.
Big
Like the way
way,
that you can
because there's
interact
more
with your
producers
fans.
than
Yeah,
consumers.
exactly.
And
Yeah.
you
And when
gotta
you
beat all the
and some
producers.
consumers are producers too, you know? It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, they're both.
hmm I think like overall, I like the direction I see popular music going isn't necessarily one that I like, but That's not my problem. I'm never trying to be like the most famous artist. I never
Yeah.
want to be the number one like streamed artist on Spotify. I think that'd be terrifying to me. I don't know if I'm like I don't want that. I
I
don't want
think
people
the goal
interacting with me like
for
that.
I think the goal for most people, or the goal should be for most people, I would say shoot for the stars, but what you want to do is do what Sesh Hollow Water Boys did. They're still
Absolutely.
making, they can still sell out a show together. They can still
Exactly.
sell merch together. They're still getting deals. They're getting brand deals and stuff like that. Like they can still like post a song and get like 100,000 plays or whatever, and like their
Absolutely.
fans,
Like
like their hardcore fans, will support them. I feel like the most important thing is not pleasing the mainstream, but serve being a service to your actual community. Figure out how you can be a
absolutely.
service to the community rather than being a service to the machine.
And that's something I've really wanted to do within my music. Like if I had like my way and like I got everything I wanted, I want to consistently be able to make money off of my music to where I can live comfortably, but also contribute to a mutual fund in which I can help direct these funds to assert and help within my community to make sure that we are equitably distributing things and making sure that everyone is taken care of in a way. I feel like that's something that's not talked about enough, which makes sense because everyone is so worried about getting their own bag because like that's a real struggle. But like
I would
just
say,
making sure, yeah.
yeah, yeah, I agree with that, but then also like people like, and this is what I love about music. People that work the hardest usually make it no matter what kind of talent they are. The worst sounding artists can become like, they can have a fan base, have 100,000 followers, and you don't even know who the fuck they are. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Like
I,
either
I never
way,
want to be
how
for everybody.
yeah,
Like
that's what I'm
I never
saying.
want to
Like
be for everybody.
however long it takes you, like it just depends. This is like entertainment in general is a marathon, not a sprint. Who is going to last the longest? Because some people
Hmm.
start making music and they fall off every single day. And
Every
like,
single day.
if you actually love this, like I love, like doing podcasts and stuff like that. I never have
I could definitely
pre-made.
see that.
I never, I never have like pre-made like questions. I'm interested in the artist I'm talking to. I've listened to their music. I'm engaged, and like I see what they're doing, and I want to have a conversation. Like, and
Hmm.
whether or not this gets like 5 views, 100, 1,000, 100,000, whatever. I'm just
Yeah.
happy that I was able to have this conversation because I like doing this. I like networking with people, and I like talking to people.
No, no, no.
Um,
Sky Delta bringing 10 million plays right now. You heard it
I
here
swear to
first.
God. I swear to
I
God.
think like one thing that I would consider as like a service to the community, but also to myself that I want to start doing as well is recording tutorials within
That's
different
smart.
DAWs.
That's
Um,
doing that on YouTube will then
mhm.
create another avenue of revenue stream for you. And like it's okay to be like, yo, this can make me money. That is
Yeah,
okay to
absolutely. There's nothing
that's
wrong
what
with
I'm
making
saying. There's
money.
nothing wrong with that's what I'm saying. I don't want like it's like this stigma how money is bad or money is evil or making the most money is a bad thing. No, if you become rich because you work your ass off, you deserve that. I don't hate no one that's a
Exactly.
billionaire. I don't hate no one that's a millionaire. You have earned every single whether you did something dirty, evil, whatever, you earned that dollar because you had to do it.
I was like, I
Whether
got
or
my thoughts
not
on that, but
whether or not you get caught, whether or not but if you get caught because you did something evil, that's on you. You are judged by the public, and that's how it should be. So like if you're doing dirty shit, it's gonna catch up to you regardless. But if you make a honest dollar, like you have nothing to worry about. But if
Mhm.
like I said, I can't hate on nobody's grind, but if you're doing like weird shit, then like yeah, I can't fuck with that. But like
Yeah.
what I mean like like bad business deals or shit, some shit like that. That's just gonna catch up to you regardless. Doing bad business
Mhm.
deals and stuff like that, you gonna get like people are gonna be like, yo, don't fuck with this dude. But like if you're making an honest dollar, you're a millionaire, a billionaire, I cannot be mad at you. Um,
Absolutely.
how do you feel about like the underground scene? Not even the mainstream scene, but like just the underground scene. Like, how do you feel about it right now?
I feel like I see a lot of people who have a lot of potential who are starting to work together, and I feel like the connections could be made better. But I also get that internet people are flaky. Like I'm flaky too. Like that happens. Um,
Follow through.
yeah, exactly. I think that's really what
Follow
it
through.
is.
Don't
Is
be
like,
scared. I feel like
hmm
a lot of it is just being scared. I just want to just share this one quick story.
go for it, go for it.
Um, Like when I first started doing stand up and I was getting booked in like Chicago and stuff like that, like I would
Mm.
have like nerves. I'd be like, yo, I just want to like just call them and just be like, yo, I don't like I have to cancel. I won't be able to make it. Like I have this coming up, I have that coming up.
Yeah.
And I realized that if I did that, like it fucks up like my word. You know what I'm saying? Like that I'll be there. Follow through. I know like the anxiety sucks. I know what it feels like.
Oh,
The
it does.
anxiety is gonna kill you. I like it's even like the drive. I remember just driving up to like Chicago, and like the anxiety maybe we just want to turn around. But fight that anxiety. That is just like you honestly robbing an experience from yourself because you like don't know what could happen if you just
Hmm.
met up with that person. Like something magical, like your fan base and that person's fan base could be like, oh my God, Scott Delta and this person just met up. Boom, like you
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? Y'all could create like something like dope, and you know, and like being in person, like my thing is like, what do you have to lose besides robbing yourself of an experience?
Hmm.
You know,
I
and
think,
that's how
yeah, I mean, a lot of people need CBT is what it is. Like, just think, like, what is the worst thing that could happen? How would you deal with that situation? And then what is most likely to happen?
yeah,
And then most likely to happen is probably what's going to happen. And worst case, you're prepared for the worst case. You already thought of that.
yeah. You're just
And you
gonna
don't
go
need to put
home.
any more
You're
energy
gonna
to that.
go.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
gonna
Like,
go
fuck, it didn't
home.
work out.
That's what I'm saying. Like you're just gonna go home. Like I
Like,
definitely
oh,
like
damn, I shit myself on stage and now everyone hates me. Like, okay, then you went home and then you did something else.
yeah,
Like, it doesn't even matter. Like,
yeah. Um. And then I just want to like I wanted you to just finish that. I'm sorry that I cut you off, but because I
no,
know
good.
you talk about like the relationships and things like that, and like how they could be better. What else do you think about the underground?
I don't know. I feel like I see a lot of people that are like, I think ultimately, I feel like a lot of people who are observers in the underground see people in the underground the way they see like celebrities, in the sense that they're not human. They do not have lives outside of you. They are not struggling outside of whatever music they are putting out. You'd be like, oh, this
Mm-hmm.
person hasn't released music in like a year or like however long. I'm like, you do not know what the fuck they've had to deal with in that time. Like, I think it's really important to give people leeway in that sense, but also to encourage them to be better when they are capable of being better, because you can't
Yeah,
force somebody to be better. Um,
yeah.
I'm related though. Like, I think a lot of people I see making really good moves are like Veridex, Josen, Vlad, Moth Girl, like yeah, okay, Apartment 9, like a lot of Seraphim. I'm seeing who am I thinking of? Damn,
And I want to
brain.
point one thing out about them:
Yeah.
the
Mm-hmm.
consistency.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all like I know that like and like one of the things is that like I even work a job too, and you know I have
Mm-hmm.
to and like one thing that I got, it's a quote that I heard, and you know it's really important to me. I tell people like as soon as you get done with your 9 to 5, do your hobbies like you're trying to save your life, bro.
Exactly. That's how I do it. I'll get home and I'll be like, okay, yeah, I just made 3 tracks. There we go. Like,
And like and then like don't like hesitate to put them out. Like I remember when
mhm,
I was talking to Young Scary, he was talking about putting like you know hella music out and hella tracks out.
mhm,
Like he put out 150 songs and just putting them
literally.
out, no matter how many plays they got, no matter what. And like just posting a song every week, and then like you got rappers like Ralphie the Plug, you got rappers like NBA
Hmm.
YoungBoy and stuff like that that put out songs every weekend, and
It's
they've
an
made
insane amount.
millions of dollars. They made
Hmm.
millions of dollars already. So then I
I think
tell
RX Nephew and RX Poppy are two that like I
yeah,
really
yeah,
say put out
RX Nephew.
consistently.
They've already, and like I said, they've made money off of music to where they can live in
Exactly.
places like California, to where they can do
Hmm.
like anything that they want. So imagine an artist that doesn't have that income yet. Imagine how hard you have to work. So you have to literally,
Exactly.
you know, I tell
Oh, I
people
don't
like
have to
watch.
imagine.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm
I
saying
don't
like
have
I
to
tell people
imagine.
I tell people watch what you spend your money on, watch what you spend your time on. Like those
Hmm.
are the most important things. Like because you need to have the money to you know to like fly out to places, to drive out to places. You need to have the money to stay in these hotels or whatever. If you're gonna go out of town, you don't know where you're gonna stay at or whatever. You like you just need to have like those kind of like resources and like yeah, you may have to not have a day where you can't smoke your weed or whatever, or a couple months where
Yeah,
you
it's
don't
like
smoke.
fuck it.
Yeah, like you just
It's
gotta
just a
like just
day.
sacrifice. Yeah, you gotta just sacrifice, maybe a month or 3 or 2 or 4 or
Hmm.
whatever. You just gotta be able to make those sacrifices. Um, what can people expect next from Scott Delta?
Oh, too much, too much. I'm I'm working on too much always. But okay, so specifically, the three things I'm trying to get done as soon as possible are my EP, which should hopefully be coming out soon. It's going to be more like I'd say R&B, but like it's like R&B plug and a little bit of just like house, just more like chiller vibes, I'd say. Like
Mm,
a lot more singing.
okay.
Um yeah, I'm the temporary name right now for it is the Sabina EP. I'm trying to base a lot of the influence of it around the story of Emperor Nero, who
Mm,
the like famous story was that he sort of just like madly played the fiddle while like Rome burnt around him, like his city. Which is
mm.
kind of how I feel a lot because I have a lot of anxiety disorders. I feel like I see so much happening and I see the world burning around me, and I don't know what else to do but sing and make this music.
Yeah.
Um, so that's that EP. And then there's the Ilmana EP, which is me venturing into, at least for my production and things like that, my darker side for sure. A lot more. I'd say it's like Yeezus meets Sophie and Death Grips is the closest
Mm,
I'd put it to. And Ilmana, she went insane on it. Oh my God, it's some of her best work by far. And I am so excited for that. It's it's genuinely insane how that's come together.
oh
And then
yeah.
Zadil also has an EP coming out that is going to be amazing. I'd almost call it an album because it's like twice the length of either of ours, but it's going to be amazing. They've
Yeah.
been putting so much work into it. They hit a lot of different styles and flows as well, which I really appreciated. And I'm just so excited to see the work of the people I'm working with come out.
Hell yeah.
Um, and then I think I got a few tracks on some of Astro Trap's new albums coming out. I mean, Astro Trap came down for the what show was that? It was the Slug Christ show, and we were it was
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be just like a chill thing. We were supposed to just hang out and like do nothing, but within like I want to say like 20 hours, we made about 5 tracks. So those are just sitting there now. I got to work on those
Hell
at
yeah.
some point. I think that's one thing I struggle with a lot is like since everything is literally like in house and I'm doing it, it's a lot like on either me or Zadil to like we have to make the beat, we have to make sure it sounds good and is leveled, then we have to send it out, we have to mix the vocals, we have to mix like all of the like stems around it, and then we have to like master it and get it ready for like release on different platforms. But
Mm-hmm.
ultimately it's something I love doing. It's a puzzle I love solving, so I'm never going to stop unless I get some help obviously. But I think yeah, those are the main things I'd say. I'm really excited for the three EPs, which hopefully should be out before the end of the year.
Hell yeah.
Hmm.
What where can people find you like on socials?
Okay, let's see. So I am Scott Delta NU SCOTT DELTA ENYU. That's gonna be on Twitter, on Insta. Shit, you can find me on SoundCloud. You can find me on Spotify, Apple Music. Yeah, I try and post everything I can. So those are where you can find me.
Hell yeah. This is the Scottie Show. Scott Delta. Thanks for pulling up, bro. I appreciate you.
Double Scott, of course.
Hell
Great talking with
yeah.
you.
Peace.
Peace. See you.